You've probably heard the term friendly matchmaking, yeah? Like our creators is secretly watching how you play. And then it throws you into lobbies with people who match that same energy. It kind of sounds like a bit of conspiracy talk. But here's the thing. I went digging through the dev interviews, and there is enough there to make you raise an eyebrow. Not 100% confirm this is exactly how it works, but enough that I think it's actually worth investigating. Because if this is real, it might be one of the most underrated systems in any extraction shooter right now. And today, I'm putting it on trial. Not to prove it like some scientist in a lab coat, but to test it like a normal player. Does playing friendly actually change what kind of raid you get? And here's the question I want you to sit with whilst you watch this. If Arc Raiders can shape your next raid based on your behaviour, is that genius game design or is it dangerous? Because your answer to that is basically how you feel about the future of this game. And also, if you're into Arc Raiders, extraction shooters, and just general gaming chaos, consider hitting subscribe. It really does help the channel. And drop a comment right now. What's your default playstyle? Are you a talk first, or do you aim first and ask questions never? Alright then, let's open up this case. So why I even believe this might be a thing? I started to notice something, and you probably have too. Solo lobbies are usually where you see the most togetherness. Not always. You'll still get the occasional long-range gremlin taking pot shots from a hill like it's a nature documentary. But overall, solo queues often feel weirdly human. And look, I'm not here to shame anyone who wants PvP. It's an extraction shooter. You paid for the game. Play it how you like, because nobody gets to police your fun. But that contrast is what got me thinking, because in most extraction games, if you're a solo, this is where you usually get farmed like a crop. So I started asking, why does some raids feel like a murder festival, and why do other raids feel like a cooperative Christmas market where everybody's vibing and killing Ark together? Then I saw the dev interview comments floating around, and I thought, okay, either this whole friendly matchmaking thing is pure placebo, or Arc Raiders is quietly doing something smart under the hood. So now I want to be super clear, because this is where misinformation spreads. The devs have not dropped some giant blog post explaining friendly matchmaking. There's no official be nice and we'll give you nice lobbies. But in an interview, Embark's art director Robert Samelin did confirm that player behaviour is a factor in matchmaking, while also saying the system is complex and not giving the full details. So that's the foundation. That's the merit part, which means the real debate becomes, what does behaviour mean in practice? Is it kills? Is it betrayals? Is it how often you shoot first? Maybe it could be voice chat reports, or extracting after downing someone versus finishing them. We don't know. And because we don't know, we end up testing it like degenerates. So I wanted my own experiment, and I trialled it. I went in for 4 or 5 raids with one rule. I do not start PvP. I don't chase players, and I don't third-party fights. If I get jumped, I defend myself, but I'm not hunting, and I'm not going to lie, it was rough, because Arc Raiders does something evil to your brain. You hear footsteps, you see a silhouette. My Tarkov instincts kick in and your hands are like, we must commit violence immediately. But I held it. I wanted to see if being consistent actually changes anything. And then by the 6th raid, things got interesting. And not as a solo either. I queued with a friend. And I'm telling you, the vibe was different. Not perfect, not some magical unicorn lobby, but it felt like most players were doing that Arc Raiders thing where they hesitate for half a second, like they're deciding, are we doing this, or are we doing the other thing? And then we ran into someone, and this happened. I was shocked. Friendly, giving, gave off those full Santa energy vibes. And yes, I know, that's not normal every raid. But that moment is why this topic matters, because Arc Raiders is one of the only extraction games where interactions like that don't feel impossible, they feel plausible. So now I want to go deeper. If Arc Raiders can quietly steer players into different social ecosystems, that's not just matchmaking, That's social design. If you're still here, comment team friendly or team PvP, and be honest, do you actually want the game to push you toward one style? So let's think hard about this. A game that tailors the experience to you as an individual in an online extraction shooter format is kind of insane, because the entire genre is built on unpredictability, but Arc Raiders has a unique problem to solve. It's got sweaty PvP players who want high skill fights, casual players who want to loot and survive, and then your story questline players who want progression and exploration. If you throw them all into the same blender with zero filtering, you get a miserable community war. So if behaviour-based matchmaking exists in any meaningful way, it potentially does something genius. The PvP players get more consistent fights, better opponents, less hunting newbies for content. And then your progression, questline and exploration players, well, they get more breathing room, more social interaction, more we both know we could fight, but we don't have to moments. And that doesn't remove PvP. It just stops the game from being dominated by one type of playstyle. That's why I think this could be the healthiest possible compromise for the PvP versus PvE debate. And now we have the blueprint problem making this even spicier, because friendly raids aren't just about vibes, they're about loot velocity. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, blueprints. In the Cold Snap update, Embark moved the Aphelion blueprint drop to Stella Montis and increased some items and blueprint spawn rates on that map. And instantly the community mood split into two camps. This is amazing and I can finally craft cool stuff. And also, this is too much. It kills the rarity and the adrenaline. And I'm honestly closer to that second camp, because the feeling of a blueprint used to be, no way, we have to get out. And now when they're raining from the sky, that feeling becomes, well, just another one. And Embark do this thing. They listen and they adapt. And the hotfix came on December 18th. And they say that the blueprint drop rates have been slightly lowered, but are still higher overall than before. So why does this matter for friendly matchmaking? Because if friendly lobbies exist even partially, and you combine that with higher blueprint availability, you can accidentally create raids that feel like PvE farming with occasional awkward eye contact. That's incredible for casual players. But it also risks flattening the tension and turning extraction into routine. And let's be honest, I kind of think we don't want Arc Raiders just to become a routine. And the real question is the system fair, or is it exploitable? So here's the uncomfortable part. If behaviour affects matchmaking, then players will try to game it. You can already imagine it. Run 3 raids friendly, you get chill lobbies. Then switch to full predator mode once you're in softer raids. So if that's happening, the system needs teeth. It needs to detect patterns like sudden aggression spikes, repeated betrayals, farming behaviour. And again, we don't know how deep it goes, because the devs haven't explained it. But if it's shallow, it will be abused. If it's deep, it might be one of the best anti-toxicity tools we've ever seen in this genre. And here's what I want you to do. Try this for yourself over the next 10 raids. Raids 1 to 5, play the talk first. Don't initiate PvP. And then raids 6 to 10, play normally. And then comment your results. Did the lobby vibe change at all? Or was it the same chaos with extra hope sprinkled on top? So do I think friendly matchmaking is real? I think this is the fairest way to say it, and it is a little bit of a fence sitter. The devs have said behaviour influences matchmaking in some way. But what behaviour means, how heavily it's weighted, how long it persists, or whether it's specifically about friendly versus aggressive play. So it leads to it not being gospel, but then also, it's not nothing. And if Embark really can protect different playstyles without splitting the player base into separate modes, that's not just clever, that's how you build a long-term extraction game that doesn't eat itself alive. So I'll end it like this. Should Arc Raiders lead into this system more, or should it stay invisible? Would you want a world where the game openly tells you, you've been playing aggressive, expect aggressive raids? Or do you want it to stay mysterious, so the surface always feels like the surface? Drop your take in the comments. I'm genuinely curious, because I think the community decides what Arc Raiders becomes next. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe, like the video, and share it with a friend maybe who swears friendly matchmaking is fake, and tell them, go run the 10 raid test and see if there's any changes. And if you want to catch these experiments live, I'm streaming Arc Raiders over on Twitch. Come through, say hi, and as always, take it easy.